तस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। नमो ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वतीदेवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषशून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभो नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरभक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। Welcome everyone. Hare Krishna. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. So we were studying 7th canto Srimad Bhagavatam chapter 4, and I think we did up to text 28 last time, right? Or was it 29? I think we did 28. So we'll start from 29 today. Shri Narada Uvacha Ityukta Loka Guruna Tam Pranamya Divaukasaha Nyavartanta Gatodvega Menire Jasuram Hatam. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Translation. The great saint Narada Muni continued, when the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the spiritual master of everyone, Loka Guru, thus reassured all the demigods living in the heavenly planets, they offered their respectful obeisances unto him and returned, confident that the demon Hiranyakashipu was now practically dead. The less intelligent men who are always busy worshipping the demigod should note that when the demigods are harassed by the demons, they approach the Supreme Personality of Godhead for relief. Since the demigods resort to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, why should the worshippers of the demigods not approach the Supreme Lord for whatever benefits they desire? Srimad Bhagavatam 2.3.10 says, Akama sarva kamo va moksha kama udaradhi tivrena bhakti yogena yajeta purusham param. Whether one desires everything or nothing, or whether he desires to merge into the existence of the Lord, he is intelligent only if he worships Sri Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, by rendering transcendental loving service. Now, this section is very important. Whether one is a karmi, jnani, or yogi, if one wants a particular benediction fulfilled, even if it is material, one should approach the Supreme Lord and pray to him, for then it will be fulfilled. There is no need to approach any demigod separately for the fulfillment of any desire. So, emphatically, Srila Prabhupada in the purport is bringing us to the point of Krishnaika Sharanam. Take one-pointed shelter of Krishna. Anyone who studies the Bhagavad Gita and the Bhagavatam will come to that conclusion that Ete Cham Sakalah Pumsam Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam. Sri Jiva Goswami Pad has written the Shat Sandarbhas, the 6 Sandarbhas, and especially Sri Krishna Sandarbha out of the 6 Sandarbhas, just elaboration on this one sentence, how Krishna is Bhagavan and how Krishna is the root of all Vishnu Tattvas. The whole Krishna Sandarbha is based on that. Srila Prabhupada mentions the Sandarbhas and mentions that students who want to study Srimad Bhagavatam should take shelter of the works of Srila Jiva Goswami. So there, on the basis of references from Srimad Bhagavatam, it has been proven how Krishna is Bhagavan. So of course now we are coming closer and closer to Janmashtami. So it is very important for us to understand that Krishna is Swayam Bhagavan. Swayam Bhagavan means the personality from whom all other Vishnu Tattvas manifest. Everything. Narasimha, Varaha, Vamana, Parshuram, all these avatars come from Krishna. Second point is, the Mool Roop, Swayam Roop, Sri Krishna, doesn't depend on the avatars for his Aishwarya, his Madhurya, or his Audarya, which means for his opulence, for his sweetness, and for his magnanimous mercy. The Mool Roop, the original form, doesn't depend on the other forms. But the other forms have to take shelter of the origin. They originate from him. Deeparchireva hi dashantaram abhyupetya. This has been described. Yastadrigeva hija Vishnu taya vibhati Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. Ramadi Murtishu Kalaniyamena Tishtan. Nanavataram Akarod Bhuvaneshu Kintu. Krishna Swayam Samabhavat Paramah Pumanyo Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. All these references from Brahma Samhita also point us to that point that Krishna is the original root of all existence. Because we are mentioning this point, just for reference, I will quote one verse from Bhagavatam, which has been quoted in Brahmastuti, the prayers of Lord Brahma found in the 14th chapter of the 10th canto, Dasham Skand. After Brahma Vimohan Leela, after Brahmaji he played the pastime of bewilderment, he wanted to test whether Krishna is Bhagavan. So after that, when he stole all the calves, and then Krishna manifested the forms of all the calves, all the cows, all the boys, and they were all Vishnu Murtis. We know of that pastime. After that, Lord Brahmaji offers prayers in the 14th chapter of the 10th canto. So in that set, and this is quoted by Sri Jiva Goswami, so taking shelter of his work, I am mentioning this. Brahmaji says, Aho Bhagyam Nanda Gopa Vrajau Kasam, Yan Mitram Paramanandam Purnam Brahma Sanatanam. So, very beautiful verse. What is the understanding? Brahmaji is saying, Aho Bhagyam. Aho Bhagyam means, oh, what fortune, oh, what glory. And he has repeated twice for emphasis. It is not a slip of tongue by Brahmaji. He really means it. Aho Bhagyam, Aho Bhagyam. Whose fortune? Nanda Gopa Vrajau Kasam. So this term is very beautiful, very, very beautiful. So Nanda is Nanda Maharaj. And Gopa is the Gopa Vansha, the Vaishya family. And Vraja is Vrindavan. And in that also, Vana means forest, Vraja means the village. And Okasa means residence. So he says, it is the glory, oh great glory, great opulence of the residence of the village of Vrindavan. Which village? The Gopa Vansa, the family of Vaishyas headed by Nanda Maharaj. What is the fortune? Yan Mitram. They have befriended. Mitram. Whom did they befriend? Paramanandam. So on purpose, Brahmaji has played with the word Nanda Gopa Vrajau Kasam and Yan Mitram Paramanandam, because the word Nanda means Ananda, joyful. Joyful. And the word Gopa comes from Gup Dhatu, which means to protect. So Nanda Maharaj, he is very careful to protect joy in his village. And for him to keep joy in his village, what plan has he made? Befriend Paramananda. Befriend the source of all joy. Paramananda. Actually, this term Paramananda could be used for anybody. It could be used for Vishnu Tattva. It could be used for Ramachandra. It could be used for Narasimha. Because when Lord Narasimha came, everybody became happy. When Varaha appeared, everybody became happy. Mother Earth became happy. The Devatas became happy. In fact, Mohini Murti could also be called Paramanandini, because she's filled with so much joy that everybody became happy. The Asuras became happy seeing her. The Suras became happy seeing the pot of nectar in her hand. Lord Shiva also became happy. Everybody became happy. So this word Paramananda could be used for anyone. But look at how Brahmaji uses the terms. Yan Mitram Paramanandam Purna Brahma Sanatanam. So Brahma means what? Brahma means Bhagavan. Bibhrat, Brihat. Brihat means big. So he who is big and ever expanding is called Brahman. He is everywhere, right? So if somebody is always big and all encompassing and all knowing, and he is Sarva Vyapi, he is present everywhere, that is Brahma, Bhagavan, not Lord Brahma. I'm talking about Parabrahma, Bhagavan. So if Brahma itself, or that personality himself, his light feature itself is all pervading, then why say Purna Brahma? Why say Purna Brahma? Sri Jiva Goswami has said that word Brahma could refer to any avatar. But Krishna in Vrindavan is not Brahma, he is Purna Brahma, which means he is the source of every incarnation who could be categorized as Brahma. Is this clear? So we are discussing little Krishna Tattva Siddhanta because we are coming closer to Janmashtami. So we must We must already start preparing. We should start preparing. So, Purna Brahma. So, Krishna is complete. He is complete. He is perfect. He is the source of all avatars. And why is Brahmaji saying this? Because Brahmaji had two doubts, and both of them were clarified in Brahma Vimohan Leela. The first doubt is Krishna God? That was the first doubt, because in Vaikuntha, you have to offer with so much meticulous punctuality and cleanliness and follow rules. And here in Vrindavan, Brahmaji is watching Krishna's eating with his left hand. He's sitting on Brajraj with his left hand, he's eating, and all the different types of pickles are dripping from between his fingers, and he's licking it. And Madhumangal is drinking buttermilk from Thakurji's mouth. And Krishna is eating something from Subal's mouth. What kind of Bhagwan is this? Brahmaji is thinking he cannot be Bhagwan. Brajvasis, they are villages, so they are saying, हमारे गांव के लाला यही हमारे ठाकुर जी हैं, प्रेम से कहते होंगे. It may not be true, Brahmaji thought. So this was the first doubt, whether Krishna is God. And second doubt is, even if he is God, he may be a small portion of divinity. He cannot be the source. But both of this were uprooted in Brahma Vimohan Leela, because when Brahmaji kidnapped the calves and then he was getting bewildered, I took these calves and put it in the cave, and when I came back, the calves are here, and then when I go back to the cave, the calves are there. Then I try taking some other calves and keep in another cave. I come back, the calves are here and they're there also. So this is possible only when Krishna is God. Otherwise, how does he know which calf I have taken? And there is no weeping, no crying. Initially, Krishna walked around with rice in his hand. He was looking. He didn't leave rice. There was rice with yogurt mixed that Krishna was eating. And while he went to search for his calves, he had that in his hand. So Sri Harisuriji, in that section, he writes that the word rice in Sanskrit is called bhakta. And bhakta also means devotee. And palm is ashraya, but ashraya also means shelter. So Sri Harisuriji says, if bhakta ever comes in my ashraya, which means rice ever comes in my palm, or if devotee ever comes under my shelter, even if there is problem in my life, I will not reject them. And this is why even when Thakurji had to walk around searching for his own calves, he didn't reject those grains of rice in his palm, because rice is also called bhakta. So those rice grains which are bhakta also means devotee, have taken shelter of him. How could I reject? So he was eating in the middle and also crying for the calves. And then Yoga Maya, she removed the curtain, that you are not just Nanda Nandan, Yashoda Nandan, you are Akhila Rasamrita Murti, you are Shadaishwarya Purna Bhagwan. So then he started manifesting. Initially, Krishna expanded. So it's interesting. He first showed Brahma that he's God by expanding himself as all the calves, all the cows, and all the cowherd boys. Krishna expanded perfectly. The abdominal waist length of Madhumangal was exactly the same when Krishna expanded. His belly fat remained the same as Madhumangal. When he expanded as Subal, the earrings of Subal were exactly the same. So Krishna expanded as the calves, he expanded as the cows, he expanded as the boys, he expanded as their cloth, he expanded as their ornaments, he expanded exactly in their voice, and they were all acting exactly the same way. So Brahmaji was convinced that he's Bhagavan. Now, second, after expanding as calves, cows, boys, and ornaments, when Brahmaji finally came, he saw all of those expansions as Vishnu. He saw all of them as Vishnu, and Krishna was sitting in the center. He was raising his palm and showing Brahmaji, now what do you see? Vishnu Murti all around. And when Brahmaji offered his obeisances, he didn't offer obeisances to those Vishnu Murtis. He says, Naumi dyate bravapushe tadidambaraya gunjavatamsa paripicha lasanmukhaya vanyasraje kavala vetra vishana beno lakshma shriye mrudupade pashupanga jaya. Jai ho, jai ho. बलिहारी है, जय हो. Brahmaji says, Brahmaji says, Naumidyate abravapushe, my dear Lord, I bow down to you who has a cloud-like complexion. Tadid ambaraya, and I bow down to you who has a yellow dhoti, like lightning. And Gunjavatamsa paripicha lasan mukhaya. I bow down to you who has Gunja necklace, Gunja bracelets, Gunja earrings, Gunja berry. And paripicha lasan mukhaya. I bow down to you who has a crown full of peacock feathers. So somebody may say, till now, it may look like Vishnu. This could be offering to any Vishnu Murti. But then he says, Vanya sraje kavala vetra vihana venu. I bow down to you who holds a flute in one hand, has a cow herding vetra stick in your armpit, and you have buffalo horns and bugles on your waist, and you have rice in your left palm. And Vanyasraja, I bow down to you who has garlands of flowers picked from Sri Vrindavan Dham. Vanya mane van se. And then Lakshma Shriye Mrudupade Pashupangajaya, you are decorating Vrindavan Dham with the signs and symbols of your lotus feet. Just like a Mataji, a lady will have ornaments. She has earrings and she has nose ring and she has necklace and bracelets and ankle bells, etc. Vrindavan Dham is also decorated with Lakshma Shri, the ornaments of Krishna's footprints. And some places it is like her earring, and some places it is like her ankle bell, and some places it is like her waist bell, some places it is like her necklace. So Vrindavan Dham, Bhumi Devi, she is Varahadev's wife. So Krishna's Ardhangini, Vrindavan or Bhumi is Krishna's Ardhangini. So she is having the kumkum, the sindur on her, she's Simantini on the parting of her hair. And that sindur or that kumkum is the dust of Krishna's feet all over. And Mrudupade, he's doing it so softly. He's walking so sweetly. And then Brahmaji finally says, Pashupanga Jaya. मैं आपको नमन करता हूं हे ठाकुर जी, I bow down to you because you are Pashupangaja. So all of you, please, wherever you are joining us from, please loudly say Pashupangaja. That's right. We could hear you loud and clear. Good. So Pashu means calves or cows. Pashu, pa means palane, to protect. So Pashupa is the name for Nanda Maharaj, who protects cows and calves in Vrindavan. And Anga means body, and Ja means Jayate, Janma. So I bow down to that Krishna who took birth from the body of the protector of cows and calves in Vrindavan. So this is not Vishnu, this is Krishna. So Brahmaji, he understood when Krishna expanded as cows, calves, and boys, he is Bhagavan. That first thing was cleared. And second, when he expanded as Vishnu Murtis, Brahmaji also understood all Vishnus live in that Mool Roop Krishna, that Swayam Roop Krishna, and he can bring them out at his own will. And therefore, both these doubts, whether Krishna is God, and if he is God, is he really the source of all existence? Both these doubts were uprooted. And therefore, throughout the Brahmastuti, he is offering prayers to Krishna. And he calls Krishna Aho Bhagyam, Nanda Gopa Vrajaukasam. He is not saying Vaikuntha, he is saying Nanda Gopa Vrajaukasam. Fortune, fortune to the residents of Nanda Maharaj's Vrindavan who have befriended Krishna. And how is Krishna called? Yan Mitram Paramanandam. He is the friend of the Brajbasis, full of joy. And look, he is not Brahma. He is Purna Brahma. He is the source of all existence. Now somebody may say, okay, this Krishna, he appeared in Vrindavan, then he went to Mathura, then he went to Dwaraka, and then battlefield of Kurukshetra, and he departed, right? So somebody could say that Leela of Braj was for only 10 years that Krishna manifested. Brahmaji says, no, Purna Brahma, Sanatanam. Sanatanam. This form of two-handed Shamsundar is eternal. Like the sun manifests, the sun rises, and the sun sets. Before the sunrise, you cannot say the sun is dead. And after the sun has set, you cannot say the sun is dead. The sun is always there, very mercifully between rising and setting. makes his appearance. So therefore, Krishna in Vrindavan is eternal. Two-handed form, Krishna is eternal. Krishna does manifest four-handed form, sometimes even six-handed form, like you can see in Vishwaroop, Virat Roop, he manifested four-handed form. Even as Shanti Dut, he manifested his Virat Roop to Duryodhan, and even to Bhishma Dev on his departing bed, it is described that the Lord came as four-handed form, Chaturbhujam. So the Lord Krishna, Sri Hari, can manifest four-handed forms, but his two-handed form, in Gopal Tapani Upanishad, it is described that Dvibhujam Shama Rupinam. This form of the Lord as two-handed form is Sanatan, is eternal, and is the source for all the four, six, eight-handed forms. All avatars in Mathura, Dwaraka, Vaikuntha, Ayodhya, they all manifest from that little boy who's eating rice in his left hand in Vrindavan. So he is Paramananda, he is full of joy. He is not just Brahma, not just Bhagavan, he's Purna Brahma, he's the source of divinity, and Sanatan, he's eternal. Just one verse, and this is Sri Jiva Goswami's analysis of that one verse of Srimad Bhagavatam, proving how Sri Krishna is Mool Roop. So then why should we ye pyanya devata bhakta yajante shraddhayanvita tepi mameva kaunteya yajante avidhi purvakam. Gita Krishna says um, that those who worship the devatas, they're actually worshipping me only, but avidhi purvakam, in an indirect way. So, alpamedhasaha. Why should we go to the parts when we can go to the whole, when we can go to the root, when we can go to the source? So, this is the point Srila Prabhupada is making. So, whatever I said till now serve two purposes. One, elaboration on the purport, and second, welcoming Janmashtami in our heart. Shri Krishna Chandra Bhagavan ki jai. Text 30. Tasya Daityapate Putra Chattvara Paramadbhuta Prahlādo Bhūn Mahan Tesham Gunair Mahadupasaka. Very nice. Entrance of Prahlad Maharaj in our Katha. Tasya Daityapate. Daityapati is Hiranyakashipu. Tasya Daityapate. Of that Hiranyakashipu, Chatvara Putra, there were four sons. And among them, so all four of them have been, all four sons of Hiranyakashipu have been called Parama Adbhutaha. They were all great. But amidst them, Tesham, among four of them, Prahlāda Abhut Mahan. They were Parama Adbhuta, but Prahlad Maharaj was Mahat Parama Adbhuta. He was greater than the greatest among the four. How do you know that? Gunaihi Mahad Upasakaha. By his qualities, he was a very great worshipper. So the word Upasaka, Upasana means to worship. In Sanskrit, Up means closer, and As Dhatu means to situate ourselves. So Upasaka Karoti. So he who sits closer to the Lord and situates his consciousness in devotion in a very favorable way is a Upasaka. And Mahad Upasaka, great devotee. So look, first Narad Muni is saying that that Prahlad Maharaj was Paramadbhuta, he was supremely astonishing. Then he says he was Mahan, he was great. Then in that same verse he says Mahad Upasaka. He was not just a devotee, he was a very great devotee. Actually, day before yesterday, we celebrated Sri Rupa Goswami's disappearance festival. And Sri Rupa Goswami has written something about Prahlad Maharaj because Rupa Goswami's disappearance festival was celebrated and Prahlad Maharaj's glories is being discussed for next few months. I wanted to read some section here. Sri Rupa Goswami has written in glorification of, first of all, glorification of devotees. And in that, he also has mentioned something about Prahlad Maharaj. So first, we will see Sri Rupa Goswami's inclusion of verses, and some of them are from Hari Bhakti Sudodaya, and some of them are from Padma Puran, and some from Adi Puran. Rupa Goswami has compiled. So first, Sri Rupa Goswami Pad says, आराधनम मुकुंदस्य भवेत आवश्यकम यथा तथा तदीय भक्तानाम नो चेत दोषोस्ति दुस्तरः. Sri Rup Goswami. Sri Rup Goswami Pad says, Aradhanam Mukundasya. Mukunda is Krishna. His Aradhanam avashyakam bhavet. It is certainly compulsory. Worship of Krishna is compulsory. But yatha, as much worship of Krishna is compulsory, tatha tadiya bhaktanam. It is very important to worship Krishna with his pure devotees. न तद bhakteshu chanyeshu tad bhakta prakrita smritaha. Otherwise, a person is not considered to be a good devotee. If somebody says, I will only worship Krishna, I will not worship Balaram, I will not worship Radharani, I will not worship Yashoda Rani, I will not have any respect for cows, I will have no worship of Tulsi, I will not respect Gurudev, I will not have any respect for Vaishnavas in this world, then such a person is not a good devotee. It's not a good devotee. Krishna Upasaka means he worships Krishna with the devotees. And no chet doshosti dustaraha. If Rupa Goswami says no chet means if one doesn't worship the devotees, dosha asti dustaraha, then insurmountable or very difficult fault is collected on the way. भगवत भजन तो हो रहा है, उसके साथ साथ दोष भी हम अर्जन कर रहे हैं. We are also collecting some faults on the way of bhakta aparad, of not worshipping the devotees. Also, archayitva tu govindam tadiyan narchayetu yaha nate vishnu prasadasya bhajanam dambhika jana archayitva tu govindam tadiyan narchayetu yaha nasa bhagavato jneyah kevalam dambhika smritaha. Two verses, one from Sri Hari Bhakti Sudodaya, one from Padma Puran, and both of them say that if somebody worships Krishna, he is a devotee. But if somebody worships Krishna and no worship of devotees, then such a person, dambhika smritaha, he is considered to be a pretender. क्योंकि जिन भगवान को हम विग्रह में देख पा रहे हैं, उन्हीं भगवान को भक्तों के चित्त में नहीं देख पा रहे, तो कैसी भक्ति हुई? True devotion means able to see Krishna everywhere. Sarva bhuteshu yah pashyet. True devotion means such a person cannot stand separation from his Ishtadev. Cannot stand separation from his Ishtadev. Not possible. It is described that when Krishna left Vrindavan, Srimati Radharani, she closed her eyes and her breathing became very slow. And she stopped to talk. There was no more talking. And as her eyes closed and her breathing became very slow, and she sat in a cross-legged position and she kept quiet and she wouldn't eat anything anymore, and there was no more sleep or no more thirst, the other gopis asked her, Hey Radhe, are you practicing yoga or is this the effect of viyoga? Is this practice of yoga where yogis also keep their eyes closed and don't speak a word and don't eat anything and they sit in lotus position and they don't talk to anyone and move around in this world? Is this what you're practicing, or are these effects of your viyoga, separation from Shamsundar? So is this yoga or viyoga that you're practicing? And certainly it was viyoga, separation from Krishna. So the point is, a pure Vaishnava, when separated from Krishna, they will have shunyayitam jagat sarvam govinda virahena me. They cannot see this world as it is. But while they are in that separation, because of remembrance of Krishna, they see Krishna in all directions. So first step is, when they are separated from Krishna, the world means nothing to them. And when this separation increases even further, instead of one Krishna, now they start seeing hundreds and hundreds of Krishna from each direction. So Sri Rupa Goswami Pad has written a verse where he says that between union and separation, for a devotee, separation from the Lord is even higher. Because in union they see one Krishna, and in separation they see hundreds and hundreds of them. This shows the highest level of prem parakashta, the highest level of love. So the point is, when someone loves the Lord, when someone has bhakti for Krishna, they cannot see anything separate from Bhagwan. They cannot see anything separate from Bhagwan. You give them water, they will say, Rasoham apso kaunteya. This is the taste in, Krishna is the taste in water. You show them the sun, and they will remember Prabhasmi Shashi Surya Yo, that Krishna is the light of the sun. वो भक्ति भक्त कहाँ जो एक क्षण में अपने ठाकुर जी की विस्मृति हो, ये तो भजन ही नहीं हुआ। कई बार अहंकार हो जाता है हमें, हाँ, हम सब में अहंकार कभी हो सकता है कि देखो मैं 10 माला कर रहा हूँ, 12 माला कर रहा हूँ, 16 माला कर रहा हूँ। We become proud that we are remembering Krishna for 1 hour. And the pure Vaishnavas, they feel that they are the most fallen because they forget Krishna for 1 second. So, sthari ऊंचा है. The yardstick, जो मापदंड होता है, the litmus test is totally different for a conditioned soul and a liberated soul. So the point is, if somebody is worshipping Krishna, can see Krishna in the deity, but cannot see Krishna in bhakta, cannot see Krishna in the heart of the devotee, cannot see Krishna in atoms, cannot see Krishna in tulsi, cannot see Krishna in living beings, cannot see Krishna in animals and trees and birds and insects, such a person is not a very advanced devotee. So ultimately, a pure Vaishnav, jahan netra pade tahan kare darshan, can see Krishna everywhere. You can see our Sri Jiva Goswami. He could see Krishna even in grammar. Our acharyas could see Krishna in the greatest philosophy. So somebody can think, what has philosophy to do with Bhagavan? मैं तो भक्त हूँ. I want to be a simple devotee. This shastra is not for me. This philosophy is not for me. But our acharyas could see Krishna in Jyotish Shastra, in astrology. Our acharyas could see Krishna in Chanda Shastra, in meters. Our acharyas could see Krishna in Vyakaranam, Sri Harinamamrit Vyakaranam. Our acharyas could see Krishna in everything. Sri Mukunda Sarkar could see Krishna in a peacock feather fan, right? In that story where he went to serve the king, and Mukunda was the doctor and the king was not keeping well. So he went to check the pulse of the king. And behind the king, they were using a peacock feather fan to fan the king. And Mukunda saw the peacock feather fan and he remembered Shamasundar Sri Krishna who wears a peacock feather. And this doctor who came to treat the king, now he fell from that higher stair. He fell down. And when the king asked him what happened, Mukunda said, no, nothing. I just have epilepsy. I have epileptic attack. मुझे कभी कभी ऐसे झटके लगते हैं, बस और कुछ नहीं, ये शरीर का रोग है. So the king was a great devotee of Allah. So he said, no, no, this is your love for God. So Mukunda just smiled. He didn't say anything. Sripad Madhavendra Puri could see Krishna in a rain cloud. In a rain cloud. Sripad Madhavendra Puri would see Krishna in a rain cloud and he would froth and roll on the ground remembering Krishna. So therefore, Rupa Goswami Pad has said, if we worship Govinda and we don't take care of his devotees, we don't respect his devotees, we don't serve his devotees, and every devotee, choto bhakta, chodo bada bhakta, whether somebody is a small new devotee or someone is an advanced devotee, bandhu sabara charan, bhakt is devotee is he who will offer obeisances and respect to everyone. Then Sri Rupa Goswami Pad says, आराधनानां सर्वेषां विष्णोराराधनं परं तस्मात् परतं देवी तदीयानां समर्चनम. This is from the Padma Puran Uttarakhanda, where Shivji is speaking to Mother Parvati. Very famous verse. Sri Rupa Goswami Pad has used that here to say that worship of the Lord is great, but greater than that is the worship of the devotee. If somebody worships Ramachandra but doesn't worship Sita Devi, not correct. Somebody worships Krishna but doesn't worship Radharani, not correct. Therefore, Sri Bhaktivinoda Thakur has said that Atapa Rahita Suraj Nahi Jani. I don't consider a sun without sunlight. Radha Virahita Madhav Nahi Mani. And similarly, I don't consider Krishna to be Krishna if there is no Radharani next to him. So if you see there is Krishna standing somewhere alone with a flute in his hand, he may be smiling on the face, but he's very sad in his heart. Very, very sad. Because there is no Balaram, there is no Radharani, there are no cows and calves, there's no Yashoda Rani. But when you keep devotees on the altar with Krishna, you keep Balaram with Krishna, you keep Radharani with Krishna, or you keep some cows and calves at least, some peacocks, some cows, some calves. Even on your altar, if you have even Bal Gopal, you keep some cows, a little calf, a little peacock. Then Krishna is happy. Don't keep Thakurji alone like this. So Then, quoting from Adi Puran, Sri Rup Goswami Pad says, Mama bhakta hi ye partha, name bhakta stu te mata, mad bhaktasya tu ye bhakta, te me bhakta tamamata. Krishna is saying, and this is very similar to mad bhaktanam cha ye bhakta, te me bhakta tamamata. Right? So, name bhaktascha te jana. So, what does this mean? Krishna is telling Arjuna in Adi Puran that those who claim to be my devotees are actually not my devotees. But those who are happy to be the devotees of my devotees, hey Arjun, I'm telling you the truth. They are actually my devotees. I am attracted to them. So the lower we go on the rank, the faster we get Krishna's mercy. So Krishna served by Radharani, Radharani served by the Sakhis are served by the Manjaris appear in this world as the six Goswamis, they are served by the other Acharyas, and coming down to Guru, Srila Prabhupada and Gurudev. So basically, if we can be sincere servants of the Guru Parampara, then Krishna Bhakti is guaranteed. Krishna Bhakti is guaranteed. Mad Bhakta Puja Bhyadika. Bhagavat also says that, 11th canto, 19th chapter, text 21, that greater than my worship is the worship of my devotee. Now, there are so many devotees, right? You can worship any devotee. So many devotees are there. Look, there is a whole list here in Padma Puran that Sri Rup Goswami Pad has quoted. Markandeyo Ambarishascha Vasu Vyaso Vibhishana Pundariko Bali Shambhu Prahlado Viduro Dhruva दाल्भ्य पराशरो भीष्मो नारदाद्यैश्च वैष्णवैः सेव्या हरिं निषेव्यामि नोचेत आग परम भवेत. Rup Goswami Pad has said, when Vaishnavas serve Sri Hari, they must also serve personalities like Markandeya Muni, Ambarish Maharaj, Vasu, that is Upachari Vasu, Vyasdev, Vibhishan, Pundarik or Pundalik, Bali Maharaj, Shambhu, Shivji, Vidura, Dhruva, Dalbhya, Parashara, Bhishma, Narada, and Prahlad Maharaj. And if a person fails to worship them, then he collects sinful reactions on the path of bhakti. So then, after all of this, Sri Rup Goswami Pad says, Etesham, of all these names that I quoted, so many names were quoted, Etesham api sarvesham Prahlāda pravaro matah. Of all these names, emphatically it is accepted that Prahlad Maharaj is the best. Yat proktam tasya mahatmyam skanda bhagavat adishu. He is so great that Skanda Puran and Bhagavat Mahatmya, the Srimad Bhagavatam, spend many chapters exclusively glorifying him. Rupa Goswami. Then this is now Lord Shiva speaking about Prahlad Maharaj. So, because we are welcoming Prahlad Maharaj in our discussion, it is important that we offer flowers to welcome him. These are all flowers. If we say something from our own words, they're all cactus. They're all wilted thorns. But these verses of Rupa Goswami, they are blossomed, fragrant, aromatic, fresh flowers of Vrindavan that he is offering as garland to welcome Prahlad Maharaj in our discussion. So now, in Skanda Puran, Bhagwan Rudra, Shivji, Sri Rudra Vakyam, Lord Shiva is speaking, and Sri Rup Goswami Pad. All these verses are in Laghu Bhagavatamrit, by the way, for reference. Rupa Goswami Pad has quoted all of this in Sri Laghu Bhagavatamrit. भक्त एव हि तत्वेन कृष्णं जानाति न त्वहं सर्वेषु हरिभक्तेषु प्रह्लाद अति महत्तमः. Wow. What does Lord Shiva say? He says, Bhakta eva hi tatvena Krishnam janati natu aham. These devotees whose names have been quoted, only they understand Krishna. Actually, I am on that list, but I don't understand Krishna. Shivji is saying. Bhakta eva hi tatvena Krishnam janati. These devotees understand Krishna, natu aham, but I cannot understand. But one thing I understand, Sarveshu Hari Bhakteshu, of all the devotees of Hari, Prahlāda Ati Mahattamaha. This I understand. Shivji is saying, I don't understand Krishna, but I understand one thing, that of all the devotees, Prahlad Maharaj is the greatest. Now we will hear Prahlad Maharaj glorify himself. This is found in 7th canto Bhagavatam, chapter 9, text 26. Kwaham raja prabhava isha tamodhikesmin jata suretara kule kwatavanu kampa na brahmano na cha bhavasya na vai ramaya yanmer pite shirasi padmakara prasada. Wow, wow, wow. Prahlad Maharaj is saying, Kwa aham raja prabhava isha tamodhikesmin. What can I say, my dear Lord? Raja prabhava. My body has been made out of asuric blood. I am born in this Rajoguni family, Rajaprabhava. And hey Isha, oh my dear Lord, Tama Adhike Asmin. And in my body there are a lot of not just Rajogun but also Tamogun. There are a lot of Tamogun. And Kwa Aham. Therefore, what can I say? Who am I? I am nothing. I am no one, my dear Lord. What is my position? But however, one thing I can say, Tava Anukampa. I have somehow become a recipient of your mercy. I don't know how. आपकी कृपा हो गई. This he is speaking to Narasimhadev. Little Prahlad is speaking to Narasimhadev. That kwaham raja prabhava isha tamodhikesmin jata sura itara kule kwa tavanukampa. That I am, so Sura means Devatas and Itara means not Devatas, so Asuras. So I am Jataha, I have taken birth or born in Sura Itara Kule. I have taken birth in the family which is not so divine. And therefore, Raja and Tama Adhika Asmin Dehe. In my body, lot of Rajogun and Tamogun. But दिस इज क्वा. क्वा मीन्स मैं कहाँ हूं. देखिए हे प्रभु, मैं कितना निकृष्ट हूं. मैं रजोगुणी तमोगुणी आसुरिक राक्षसी कुल में उत्पन्न हुआ. और क्व तव अनुकंपा. और कहाँ आपकी कृपा. लाइक क्वाहम दरिद्र पापियान क्व कृष्ण श्रीनिकेतन ब्रह्म बंधु इति स्माहम बाहुभ्याम परिरंबिता. सुदामा चरित्र में, इन द पास्ट टाइम ऑफ सुदामा, व्हेन सुदामा वाज एम्ब्रेस्ड बाय कृष्ण, सो सुदामा सेज क्वाहम दरिद्र पापियान. मैं कौन हूं हे प्रभु, इतना निकृष्ट. आई एम सच अ फॉलन wretched poverty stricken fellow. And क्व कृष्ण श्रीनिकेतन. And you are Krishna. You are the Lord of the goddess of fortune. So Kwa is used, I am here and you are there. And similarly, Kwachaham kitava papo brahmagno nirapatrapa Kwacha narayana iti etad bhagavan nama mangalam. Ajamil Upakhyan. Where am I? Ajamil says, I am so fallen, I am a blot, I bring blemish to the character of Brahmanatva, Brahman Kul, and Nam, Paramamangalam, and the name is all auspicious giving. Therefore, when the name came on my tongue, although I am so fallen, I have got the fortune of seeing Vishnu Dutas. So this is my great fortune. So here Prahlad Maharaj is saying, Na brahmano na cha bhavasya na vai ramaya yanmer pite shirasi padma kara prasada. Hey Prabhu, आपने प्रसाद दिया मुझ में. You have given your mercy. What kind of prasad? Padma kara. You have given your lotus palm. Where have you given your lotus palm? Shirasi, on my head. And because Narasimha Dev, he touched Prahlad. He touched Prahlad, he kissed Prahlad, he hugged Prahlad, and like a lion, he licked the face of Prahlad. Like a little cub on the lap. And Prahlad Maharaj is saying, Yanmer pita shirasi padmakara prasada. You have given the prasad, the mercy of your padmakara, lotus palm on my head, and this na brahmano, na cha bhavasya, na vai ramaya. You have not given this fortune to Lakshmi Devi. Lakshmi Devi gets your lotus feet. Brahmaji gets your lotus navel. Shivji gets the eyebrow of Brahma, who gets your lotus navel. But I got your lotus palm. What great fortune. Tava Anukampa. My dear Lord, I have become so fortunate. So this is Prahlad Maharaj showing his humility, at the same time his great fortune. Now we will hear Narasimha Vakya, Narasimha Dev glorifying Prahlad Maharaj. So we will discuss all this later also, but now the ecstasy of Prahlad Maharaj, we have to, Anaka Dundhubi, we are blowing trumpet and conch shell and we are playing the kettle drum, welcoming Prahlad Maharaj in our discussion. So Narasimha Dev, Tatraiva Shri Narasimha Vakyam. This is Canto 7, Chapter 10, Text 21. 7, 10, 21 Bhagavat. Narasimha Dev is saying, Bhavanti Purusha Loke Mad Bhaktas Tvam Anuvrata Bhavan Me Khalu Bhaktanam Sarvesham Prati Rupadrik. Narasimha Dev says, those who follow your example will naturally become my pure devotees. You are the best example of my devotee, and others should follow in your footsteps. Mad Bhaktaha Tvam Anuvrata. So, Anuvrata means to follow footsteps. So, Narasimha Dev is telling Prahlad Maharaj, Asmin Loke, Iha Loke, in this world, Tvam Anuvrataha Purushaha, those people who follow you, Bhavanti Chet, if they become your followers, Madbhaktaha Bhavanti, they will become my pure devotees. Just by following your example. What is the example of Prahlad Maharaj? Be fearless, do your duty, practice bhakti, have compassion for everyone, speak about Krishna, and at the same time, those who are tormentors, don't hold any grudge against them, and tolerate all reversals, remembering the Lord, having faith in His protection. If somebody follows this path, then madbhaktaha bhavanti. Narasimha Dev says, they will become my pure devotee. Bhavan me khalu bhaktanam sarvesham prati rupadrik. Certainly, O Prahlad, of all my devotees, you are the best example. Prati rupa. Prati rupadrik means perfect example. You are the best perfect example. Sarvesham bhaktanam, among all my devotees. Imagine getting that title from Ugra Narasimha Dev. That of all my devotees, you are the best example. So Prahlad Charitra is certainly very dear, very, very dear. And even in Sri Brihad Bhagavatamrit, Sripad Sanatan Goswami has glorified Prahlad Maharaj to great, great extent. So that is also wonderful to note. Now we will continue. Text 31 and 32. We will read, but the discussion we will take it on Tuesday. It's a very wonderful set of qualities that Prahlad Maharaj exemplified. So this will take some time to discuss. Very beautiful, each of those qualities. So let's read this. And if possible, preferably, we should memorize these two verses, because these are two verses that we should try to live by. Because Narasimha Dev is saying, those who follow your example. And how do we know? How do we know how to follow Prahlad Maharaj? By following his example of his beautiful qualities. The previous verse says, Gunaihi Mahadupasaka. By his qualities, he was a great example. So these are the qualities. Let's read this. ब्रह्मण्यशीलसम्पन्नः सत्यसन्धो जितेन्द्रियः आत्मवत् सर्वभूतानाम् एकप्रियसुहृत्तमः दासवत् सन्नतार्याङ्घ्रिः पितृवत् दीनवत्सलः भ्रातृवत् सदृशे स्निग्धो गुरुषु ईश्वरभावनः विद्यार्थरूपजन्माढ्यो मानस्तम्भविवर्जितः. Very beautiful. Brahmanya, Shila Sampanna. So let's count the qualities. 1. Brahmanya. Sheela Sampannaha, second. Satyasandha, third quality. Jitendriya, fourth quality. Atmavat Sarvabhuteshu, fifth quality. Eka Priya Surittama, sixth quality. Dasavat Sannataryangrhi, seventh. Pitravat Dinavatsala, eight. Bhratravat Sadrishe Snigdo, ninth. Gurushu Ishwara Bhavana, 10. And Vidya Artha Rupa Janmadyo Manastamba Bivarjita. This whole thing is the 11th. So basically 10 qualities in the positive and 1 to give up like him. So we'll see what they are. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada. The qualities of Maharaj Prahlad or Prahlad Maharaj, the son of Hiranyakashipu, are described herewith. He was completely cultured as a qualified Brahmana. So that is Brahmanya. He had good character, and that is Sheela Sampanna, and was and being determined to understand the absolute truth, Satya Sandha. He had full control of his senses and mind, that is Jitendriya. And like the super soul, he was kind to every living person, living entity, and was the best friend to everyone. So Atmavat Sarva Bhutanam is one quality, and Eka Priya Surittama, basically equal to everyone and at the same time kind and loving to everyone. Then the 7th, to respectable persons, he acted exactly like a menial servant. Sannata Arya Angrihi Dasavat. At the respectable feet of great souls, dasavat sannata. He offered himself as a menial servant. तो अपने से जो वरिष्ठ हैं उनके चरणों में आश्रित थे, और पितृवत दीन वत्सला, अपने से जो कनिष्ठ थे उनके लिए पिता समान, और भ्रातृवत सदृशे स्निग्धो, और अपने समान जो भक्त थे उनके लिए भ्रातृवत, भाई समान. So he was like a servant to those more advanced in bhakti than him. He was like a father to those who are new to bhakti, like the class friends, the classmates. He was like a father teaching them. And if there was someone of equal status, then Bhratravat, he was like a brother to them. Snigdha, very loving. And Gurushu, to his spiritual master, Narada Muni, Ishvara Bhavana. Ishvara Bhavana. He worshipped Narad Muni like his Bhagavan. It's interesting that here the word used is Gurushu in Bahuvachan Prayog. To his gurus, Ishvara Bhavana. That also means Shanda and Amarka. He considered Shanda and Amarka as his guru, but this is interesting. For Narad Muni, he offered obeisances and he surrendered his heart. But to Shanda and Amarka, he offered his obeisances, but he understood that this is Ishvara Bhavana. For Narad Muni, it was Yogamaya, the internal potency acting, the Antaranga Shakti acting. And for Shanda and Amaraka, this is Mahamaya. So I should offer obeisances, but stay away from their conception. So for both, he had Ishvara Bhavana. He did not disrespect Shanda and Amarka, his class teachers. He respected them like he would respect Narada Muni. But he saw Narada Muni as a Mahatma working under the internal potency, pure Vaishnav. And he saw Shanda and Amarka working under Maya Shakti, the external Shakti of Bhagavan. But both, Ishvara Bhavana. And then finally, Vidya. Vidya means learning, and Artha means wealth, Rupa means form, and Janma means birth. Prahlad Maharaj had all four of them in the highest aristocracy. His birth was, he was the son of the king, rich, he was supremely rich, he would own the whole kingdom. He was exquisitely beautiful and extremely knowledgeable and realized. But still, Manastamba Vivarjita. He did not have arrogance and he did not have pride. Mana means considering oneself to be greater than others, and Stamba, not bowing down to anyone. So impudence or arrogance is Stamba, and false ego and pride is Man. So he was free from both those ideas. He didn't expect anybody to bow down to him, and yet at the same time, he didn't think, I am so great that I don't need to bow down to anyone. He was free from both of those ideas. Srila Prabhupada, in this purport, he very wonderfully mentions that these are some of the qualifications of a Vaishnava. A Vaishnava is automatically a Brahmana because a Vaishnava has all the good qualities of a Brahmana. Shamo damastapa shaucham shantir arjavam evacha jnanam vijnanam astikyam brahma karma swabhavajam. Peacefulness, self-control, austerity, purity, tolerance, honesty, wisdom, knowledge, and righteousness. These are the qualities by which the Brahmanas work. These qualities are manifest in the body of a Vaishnava. Therefore, a perfect Vaishnava is also a perfect Brahmana, as indicated here by the words Brahmanya, Shila, Sampanna. So I request all of you to kindly memorize these two verses and also read this purport and come. And then we will continue on Tuesday. We will try to elaborate and try to understand how we can imbibe these qualities of Prahlad Maharaj in our real life.